Ownage, we're going to analyze two cards that are very similar and try to decide which one is more ownage, or which one is better in general. Sword of the Animist and Sword of Hearth and Home. I know, old content. Sword of Hearth and Home is old news. But I was looking at both these cards and trying to decide which one to put in a deck. And let's talk about them. Alright, so they're very similar. They both search up lands. They both are equipment. And they're a little different, but they kind of do the same thing. Alright, so let's read the old one first. Sword of the Animist. This one's classic. It's super good. It's from one of the old Commander sets. I don't know where else it was printed. Alright, it's 2 CMC, Sword of the Animist. Equipped creatures +1/+1. It has a equip cost of 2. So for 4 mana, you can get this going pretty much right away as long as you got something to attack with, which is very nice. Whenever equipped creature attacks, you may search your library for a basic land card, put it into play tapped. That's it. Pretty straightforward, nice ramp. What's so good about this is you can get this sort of reoccurring ramp in any deck. So that makes this card like super valuable at casual to high level casual type play in Commander, in case you don't know. Not necessarily in competitive. I don't think you see this card in competitive. Of course, you only see about the same 100 cards over and over in competitive. So, and also, I don't think competitive is all that common because not everybody can drop $8,000 to $10,000 on every deck they build. It's just unrealistic. Well, that's the side point. The point is, this is played in every deck, pretty much, except for the high-level competitive ones, which are pretty rare anyways, among Magic players. So, the value of this card is going to probably keep increasing because the demand is going to be there always. Alright, now let's do a comparison to Hearth and Home. I don't know why I'm getting sidetracked on the financial stuff because it's not what this is about really, but it kind of does matter because if you're buying one or the other, you're probably trying to not buy the other one. Hope that makes sense. Alright, Sword of Hearth and Home. 3 mana, like most of the swords, so a little bit more right out the gate, and equip 2. So to get this going right away, you need at least 5 mana, which is notably worse if you're doing it for the ramp. Alright, because 4 mana to get the ramp going right away is like infinitely better than 5 mana. Because you might need a whole nother turn for this, maybe you're missing your land drop and you only have 4, but Sword of the Animist would be perfect, but Hearth and Home won't even work. You know, there's situations like that already, just based on Sword of the Animist being 1 CMC cheaper, make it way better. And now we're going to talk about more things that also, well, I'll save the conclusion for the end. Let's read Sword of Hearth and Home. Equipped creature gets +2/+2 and has protection from green and white. A notably much bigger and more important buff than Sword of the Animist. So we're seeing Sword of Hearth and Home putting a bigger buff level, and the green and white can be relevant. Protection from green and white can be pretty relevant too. Alright, whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player. Whoa. Deals combat damage? Sword of the Animist just triggers on attack, which is a lot more guaranteed. Hearth and Home actually has to connect. Now it does have protection from green and white, so you can. There's probably a player that you can get through with this attack on that can't block it because of the protection, but it's not guaranteed. Alright, whenever it does combat damage to player, exile up to 1 target creature you own, then search your library for a basic land. Put both on the battlefield under your control, then shuffle. Alright, so we're seeing it has to do combat damage to a player. That's a pretty big difference. You do get to put the land, the basic land, into play untapped. So Sword of Hearth and Home, land comes in untapped. A little bit better, but is it worth the extra 1 mana? You could say you're paying that extra mana of it coming in untapped off the casting cost or something. So a little bit comparable there. Now, the flicker effect. Exile up to 1 target creature you own, and then it goes back into play. Now, if someone is like stealing your stuff, gaining control of your creatures, this is really good because you can do it on something that they gain control of and get it back. Also, if you have great ETB effects, this is really good. So we're seeing Sword of Hearth and Home as more of a utility card than a ramp card almost. because once you have 5 mana, ramping is less important. 4 mana, ramping's, you know, the less mana you have, the more important it is to try to ramp up to more, basically. So, two very comparable cards often serve the same purpose, but which one is overall better? Now, I've kind of theorized that for the majority of cases, Sword of the Animist is better. Because if you're including the card specifically for the ramp function, Sword of the Animist is better. Because you can do it sooner, number one, being that it's cheaper, that's huge. Like one less CMC is a huge thing in general. The difference between 2 and 3 is, you know, a 33% difference. It's pretty big. So I think Sword of the Animist overall is a stronger card if you want the ramp. Now, if you want this flicker effect really bad, if you've got tons of ETB and the flicker effect is super important, or the protection or getting your creature buffed a little higher is super important, Sword of Earth and Home might be a little better for you. But I think overall, as far as pure includability in decks, Sword of the Animist is going to be a better card. So, yeah. If I had to rate them, I would give Sword of the Animist like an 8, and Sword of Earth at Home like a 7. So that's my take on these. Let me know your comments down below. Did I miss any important points about these? Alright, thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time. Matt from MTGO and over now. Peace.